Thank you, Chairwoman Waters. Thank you, Chairman Powell. Since his confirmation last year as Fed Chairman, Mr. Powell has prioritized outreach to Congress and public disclosure of Fed activities, and members and the public have benefited from that outreach and that public-facing interaction. I'm hopeful that the Chairman will continue to pursue this approach, as it is important for the long-term integrity of the institution, and highlights the open book approach to Fed policy that is necessary for long-term market stability and understanding of Fed policymaking. The economy over the last 2.5 years has witnessed remarkable growth, and unemployment has reached lows that many once believed were impossible. Republican-led efforts for tax relief and regulatory reform have supported these trends, with millions of Americans benefiting through those policies, as a result of those policies, and millions more seeing their wages grow as a result of that regulatory right-sizing and tax relief. The Fed's interest in undertaking targeted rulemaking to provide regulatory right-sizing will help continue that trend. And it's important to economic growth and stability for the pace to be picked up. At the same time, I share the Fed's concerns that global economic uncertainty could prove challenging here at home. As the minutes of the last FOMC meeting made clear, Europe and China in particular represent risks the Fed should continue to monitor and, where appropriate, work to mitigate. In Europe, the specter of a no-deal Brexit not only impacts the EU-UK trading relationship, but also entails spillover effects that may implicate domestic financial institutions here at home. Further afield, chronic weakness in Italy remains a threat to Eurozone economies, and new movements have emerged that seek to disrupt the continent's post-war politics as well. As for China, the days of double-digit growth appear to be gone, but not Beijing's misguided state-run economic management. China continues to suffer from the politicized allocation of capital, the cynicism towards international economic governance standards, opaque channels for decision-making, and, of course, the absence of the rule of law. In sum, China poses a massive risk, but a risk that defies conventional forms of assessment because its regime lacks conventional forms of accountability and transparency. In both China and Europe, we are facing systemic risks that have few historic analogies. China's growth is expected to decline to its lowest point since 1990, and European Union membership has only expanded, never shrunk, since its origins more than a half-century ago. These are different times we're living through, and different challenges, certainly for the Fed and for the Fed chair. That means that the rearview mirror will be of limited usefulness for policymakers in the years ahead. We'll need to confront new sources of uncertainty with new insights and ideas, and the Fed will be essential in detecting and interpreting these challenges. While some of Mr. Powell's predecessors developed a reputation for ambiguity, I'm hopeful that he will pursue a different path, and it's certain that he already has. As he himself has noted last month, greater uncertainty calls for more clarity from the Fed, not less. In the face of risks that we've yet to fully understand, our central bank must be all the more articulate and predictable.